Hi, my name is New Cleopatra, and I am formerly also known as Lamarr Townsend. This is the name of the channel. Lamarr Does Life, but I am in drag queen version. The drag queen version of me, Lamarr Townsend, is New Cleopatra. Basically, a blonde Cleopatra. Just kidding. I'll spare you the details of my name, but I am a psychic, an energy channeler, a tarot reader, and an astrologer. I'm a spiritualist, so therefore I am very connected to Egyptian culture and Cleopatra. So my name is New Cleopatra, meaning like new Cleopatra, such as New Isis, which is what Cleopatra referred to herself while she was living. Anyways, I am here to review the new Jordan Peele movie called Nope, which I saw tonight in theaters. And I'm going to give you the rundown. I will give you all a moment. If you do not want to hear spoilers, if you have not seen the movie yet, I'll give you a moment to click off or decide whether or not you want to hear spoilers first. I'm going to try not to, I'm not going to spoil everything for you for the movie, but I may spoil a large part of the plot in this film. There may definitely still be some surprise things I'm not going to touch on necessarily in this review. So you can still watch the movie, still go out and support Jordan Peele. I'm not saying you shouldn't watch the movie, but I'm definitely, so that I can give a thorough review, going to probably give some stuff away, which could ruin the movie or the movie plot for you if you want to go in like I did, with no spoilers or no expectations. So, once again, I probably, most likely, will be giving spoilers away in this video, so if you don't want to hear spoilers, click off, come back to this video once you've watched the movie. I went into the movie, once again, not listening to spoilers, so my review is very non-biased, so I'm going to give you a very non-biased review, but it will probably be a spoiler review, alright? Once again, I am a psychic, an energy channeler, a tarot reader, and an astrologer, so if you'd like a personal reading, definitely check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. I am, as you can see, I was looking up clips for this review, but this is my website if you're into spirituality or tarot, if you want to follow me. Like I said, I am a drag queen. I'm also a tarot reader, an astrologer, and a psychic. So check out my Twitch, become a member of my Patreon. Of course, follow me on my main YouTube channel, which is Lamarr Townsend Tarot, right here. Alright, this is my main YouTube channel, so if you want to follow me here. Sometimes I dress up in drag, sometimes I dress up as a boy. Same thing with this channel you're watching right now. But if you want a reading or anything like that, check out my website. I do birth chart readings, I do psychic tarot readings, I do candles, I do dream interpretation readings, I do mediumship readings, I do past life readings, and so much more. So if you'd be interested in any of these things, check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. So with that being said, as you can see, I went into this movie, Jordan Peele, Nope, very open-minded. I am someone that believes in, the possibility of things beyond what we can see, things beyond, just humans, living in this universe, living on this earth. So, I'm very spiritual, I'm open to these types of things. So I kind of went into this movie excited. Number one, for that reason. Number two, I went into this movie excited because I've heard great things about Jordan Peele, but I've never actually sat down and watched a full, thorough Jordan Peele movie. Now, after this movie, I think I might go watch the others, definitely, because I want to be caught up, because I feel like he has definitely a lot of potential. Like, his filmmaking style is definitely unique, but I do have some stuff we'll get into here in a bit. This was my first ever Jordan Peele movie experience. The last movie I had seen in the theaters this year in 2022 was Scream 5, which was also a good movie, sad but good, in early 2022 January. So it's now July, and 6 months later, here we are watching my first Jordan Peele movie ever. So not only was it my first Jordan Peele movie experience, it was my first movie experience since January. So I was very excited. It didn't get any candy. I was at one of those movie theaters where you sit down and they you order what you want and they bring it to you. But I felt so obnoxious doing that. even though people beside me were buying stuff too, I just felt weird, like, shaking stuff and drinking your drink and, like, moving the straw, making a whole bunch of noise while other people are trying to enjoy the movie. So I was like, I'll eat when I get home or something like that. So I didn't get my snacks or anything like that. Let's get into my review of Nope by Jordan Peele. I want to have a couple notes. I want to just point out the actors, because I'm going to refer to these actors throughout the review. Now, there's one actor in this here video or this here picture that's not in here, but we will bring him up a little bit later in the review. So, of course, the first actor or actress is Keke Palmer, who is Emerald, which I find interesting because she has a green shirt here, and her name is Emerald, and often Emerald is associated with, like, green, right? Her name is Emerald Haywood, all right? Probably my favorite character in the film, to be honest. I love Keke Palmer. She was probably my favorite character. My second favorite character probably would have had to be here, right beside Keke Palmer, is in the red sweater, is Daniel Kaluuya, whose name is OJ Haywood. So, right there establishing that Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya are brother and sister in this film. Nope. Alright? This is Emerald Haywood. This is OJ Haywood. Right next to OJ is Stephen Yeun, whose name in the film is Ricky. Ricky we'll talk about a little bit later in the film. And then we have a fourth character who's pretty prominent in this film, named Brandon Perea, who is named in the film is Angel Torres, which we'll show him in a second. So, the interesting thing I found about I liked about this film is that it was set kind of in Hollywood, which very much gave me Scream 3 vibes. I was actually on my first YouTube channel a couple days ago talking about Scream 3, so I was like, oh, this is really interesting. This is giving me Scream 3 vibes. So the movie opens up with like that kind of vibe, and the whole thing is that I guess Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya, OJ and Emerald come from like this this Hollywood family where they own a ranch in the middle of nowhere, I think in California. And their grandfather or great-grandfather or dad or something like that has all these horses, and the horses are used in these Hollywood films. And it goes back to, and one thing that I really liked about this film is that, like, you can tell that Jordan Peele is a cinema student. So when I graduated from Virginia Commonwealth University with an advertising degree, which is basically like an art business degree. And if you know anything about like VCU or Virginia Commonwealth University, you know that it's very, prominently known for its art program. One of the classes, or a couple of the classes I took in my college years, once again I graduated in 2016, was cinema classes. And one of the things that we learned, and I think this was also prominent in terms of advertising, like that you learn about the history of cinema, through advertising, is that, the way that the camera, meaning not just picture, but also like moving camera, was discovered was via a man riding a horse. All right? So I found that very interesting. I don't know why no one's talking about that. Like, I'm still trying to because I just came back maybe a few hours ago, so I'm still trying to process what that means in terms of the history and the beginnings of cinema, and a man on top of a horse, and how horses play into this film. Nonetheless, the movie opens up with OJ as like the horse tamer, and there's a whole bunch of Hollywood producers around. There's an actress, and OJ's trying to tame this horse. I guess the horse ends up getting frustrated and ends up kicking like a bucket of makeup or something like that, and ends up like scaring the crew. Once again, right there establishing the horse as a central figure at the beginning of the movie. There was also another thing at the beginning of the movie, but I'm just going to go with the most prominent thing. That more so ties in with Ricky's story, which we'll get into here in a second. Anyways, so that happens, and then we are introduced to Emerald, which is Keke Palmer's character. At the start of the video, it was just OJ who's working with the horse, but then, and OJ's kind of shy. He wasn't really getting his point across. But then Emerald comes in and steals the show, and kind of, she's very good at projecting her voice, so she's really good at also being on camera. She's very charismatic. So Emerald comes in and kind of saves the show. Now it's interesting because OJ also showed signs of PTSD, which is why I was saying, oh, this is very Scream 3. Because in Scream 3, Sydney also goes through, a series of PTSD in the film. The reason why OJ has PTSD is because their dad, who, once again, or their granddad or their great-grandfather, I don't know, I might have to watch the film twice to pick that up. But either way, their dad, their grandfather, their great-grandfather is a legend, but was killed in front of OJ by falling, these things falling out of planes. Alright? Keep that in mind, alright? So that's the reason why OJ was having trouble with the Hollywood producers and getting the horse to perform. So then we're introduced to OJ and M as, a sister and a brother. And it turns out that M and OJ want to make money, OJ's going through this thing about, does he want to sell the ranch, does he not? And M is, I don't think she's wanting to sell the ranch necessarily, but once again, she's very much about her money. And Emerald is kind of like, even though she's a strong figure within herself, she's someone that's not going to leave, because OJ's her brother, she's not going to leave OJ behind. And she's someone that's going to pretty much stick by OJ's side, which I do admire, once again, in Keke Palmer's character in this movie. Now, what's interesting is that, a couple shots later, we run into OJ having an issue with one of the horses, a white horse. Now, it's interesting because this white horse is the only white horse that they have on the ranch, that I noticed at least. All the other horses are brown or black. But this white horse is the same exact horse that their dad, or their granddad, or great-granddad was killed on earlier in the film. This horse's name is Ghost. Alright? So Ghost has these like really weird moments where suddenly, Ghost goes running out of nowhere, and then suddenly right after Ghost goes running, these weird things start happening. So at the beginning, Ghost goes running out of his holding pen, and OJ goes to follow Ghost. When OJ goes to see where Ghost is making all these weird noises. OJ discovers that there's some weird, mantra, or I don't know, it was weird voices going on, and then suddenly OJ sees a UFO out of nowhere. So that freaks OJ out. OJ goes running back to the house, the house on the ranch, where M is listening to music, but the power also keeps going in and out. Which is interesting because if you follow my tarot channel and psychic channel, I once again believe aliens are real, and I believe that aliens, extraterrestrials, UFOs, do have the ability to affect the atmosphere. So that kind of did freak me out, to be honest. But Ghost goes running to the abyss. OJ goes to follow Ghost, and he sees a UFO. The UFO, we find out a little bit later in the movie, not too far in the movie, we find out that, as you can see, Ghost is floating in the air. The UFO sucks up horses and wants Ghost. However, Ghost is, a very good runner, to be honest. But it seems like almost at some point, Ghost, we kind of are left to interpretation what happens to Ghost. I actually really like Ghost, so once again I'm gonna have to go watch the movie twice because I feel like there was a lot I missed. Anyways, after the whole Ghost situation, M, once again, the brother and the sister, let me go back. M, the brother and the sister here, decide that they are going to go upgrade their technology, upgrade their cameras around the ranch so they can catch and see what is causing these weird sounds and these weird sensations, maybe to confirm what OJ thinks he saw or he did see, and also to see what's causing the power to go on and off. So then that's where they run into the character Angel, once again played by Brandon Perea. And Brandon Perea, or Angel, is basically like a Best Buy employee. I don't think the store in the film is actually called Best Buy, but it's kind of that vibe. But he's actually very technological, and he believes in aliens, right? Like we do here, or I do. So automatically, OJ and M start to clue into this guy, and the fact that maybe he could be, kind of an integral part or a necessary part, especially since he knows technology, cameras, and he has knowledge about UFOs and extraterrestrials, and he believes in that kind of stuff. Maybe he might want to become an ally, right? So Emerald and OJ decide to take on this guy Angel as an ally. due to his technological savviness, his belief in aliens and all things of this nature. Which, I'm glad they did that, because I was like, child, this guy seems to know his stuff in terms of technology and aliens. If you weren't the ones to say, hey, I have a little project I'd like to help you with. If it were me, I definitely would say I would have a project. I have a project I'd like you to help with, because you seem to know your stuff. So I'm so glad that OJ and M seem to clock into that. That Angel knew his stuff, because it could have actually saved their life. To be honest with you, we discover at the end of the film. All right, that's where they meet Angel. And then, because once again, these are people who have been working. This is a family that's been working in Hollywood for a long time. M reaches out to a Hollywood studio exec to help. Once again, thinking about how to make money, they figure that if they can catch whatever's going on, this extraterrestrial thing on film, that it can be confirmed that it is there is extraterrestrials and aliens out there, and then therefore they'll get paid lots of money for it. Well, we'll see how that works out. So, the Hollywood studio exec decides not to help initially. So then that's when they reach out to Steven. I think OJ reaches out to Steven, once again thinking about money. Both of them are thinking about money in different ways. And then that's when we discover Steven, who is named Ricky in the film. So this is Ricky, and we discover that Ricky is actually an old actor, television actor in Hollywood that goes through this weird experience with an animal. Now looking back, I believe that it's most likely this weird UFO and the phenomena that it was causing that caused this animal to act a fool on set. And it seems like Ricky never forgot that. But they run into Ricky. Ricky is similar to OJ and M, wants to make money. He has this what would you call it? He has this not necessarily a playground, but he has a place where kids can go and have fun. I can't think of the name. Like a carnival kind of thing, like that kind of thing. Not too far from OJ and M, and it turns out that he has this spectacle for everyone to see with the UFOs, where the UFOs come in and they suck up the horses. And Angel, or I'm sorry, Ricky gets people to actually pay to see this happen, right? Now, we never see the actual creatures and the actual UFO, but you can see the UFO here in the clouds here, right? And how the city is kind of lit up underneath. One thing we learn, once again, we never see the creatures. We also learn that you can't look at the UFO. If you don't look at the UFO, then it can't suck you up. So there were some certain plot holes where I was like, it doesn't make sense. These were some of the plot holes where it doesn't make sense. Anyways, fast forwarding, the Hollywood director that Keke called earlier, or Emerald called earlier, finally decides to join the project, but then ditches the project at the last minute, alright, which is totally weird. I still don't understand that. So it's left up to M, Angel, and OJ to have to kill the UFO and save their ranch, which is their whole world. So in a sense, save the whole world, if that makes sense. So that this UFO doesn't continue to cause havoc in this town of California, right? So that's pretty much the gist of the story. Once again, I thought it was a good movie. I would definitely give it a 3 out of 5, to be honest with you. The reason why I give it a 3 out of 5 is because the movie was beautifully shot. Once again, I can tell that Jordan Peele has it has a good eye for producing and directing. It's very Tarantino, but it's not necessarily Tarantino on the dot, because Jordan Peele has his own uniqueness, but the plot left a lot to be desired, to be honest, in this film. There were a lot of plot holes, such as I didn't understand a couple scenes, such as with Steven and his supposed crush, and why the crush looked the way she did. That didn't make any sense to me. I'm still kind of left wondering what happened to Ghost. I feel like I do feel like the trio had their story completed. But there were so many plot holes, that kind of left a lot to be desired. Was it a good film? Yes, it was a good film, and it was a good theater experience. But once again, the plot was a little bit confusing, and I think the plot is maybe what kind of maybe makes it like a little bit lower in terms of ranking. The acting was superb. I think everyone in terms of the actors and actresses did a great job. But I feel like maybe the writing, the plot, once again, I feel like maybe if there were certain scenes included, it was already a 2 hour and 30-minute movie, but I feel like maybe there were certain scenes probably that could have been swapped out for certain ones to make it, like, maybe not as long, to make the plot make a bit more sense. I didn't necessarily like the reveal. It turns out, once again, that the flying saucer is an entity all in itself. And I don't know. I felt like there could have been more done with it. I thought overall it was a good film that made fun of itself in certain instances. That made fun of its audience, which I thought was funny. It was a good ride, but overall in terms of replay value, I give it a 3 out of 5. All right. So that's what I have to say about Jordan Peele's movie Nope. But to be honest with you, I'm so excited to see what other movies Jordan Peele has coming out. If this is, the first movie I've seen of Jordan Peele, I'm excited to see what he comes out next with, alright? So that's what I give Nope. I give Nope a 3 out of 5. Great film in terms of filmography, in terms of the acting, but the plot, once again, left a lot to be desired. A lot of plot holes, alright? Alright, that's my review. Thank you for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel for more reviews and more content, vlogs, cooking, and stuff like that. Thank you for listening and watching, and God bless.